How to fix DmC Devil May Cry Osiris tutorial stuck issue. Welcome back to Teknobalta. Today, we are addressing a critical progression blocker in DmC. Devil May Cry, where players find themselves completely stuck during the Osiris weapon tutorial. Our diagnostic team has extensively investigated this specific freeze that occurs right after Dante receives the scythe from his mother's statue. The game explicitly prompts you to press the left mouse button, or the F key, but the input completely fails to register. Through our independent testing at Teknobalta, we have compiled the definitive diagnostic guide to bypass this input soft lock. Let us dive right into the technical solutions we have developed and verified. During our investigation, we discovered that the on-screen prompt is functionally misleading. The actual required input to activate Angel mode and dismiss this tutorial screen is the Q key. Press and hold Q on your keyboard to instantly bypass the static tutorial overlay. If the default Q key does not trigger the Osiris activation, a corrupted input configuration file is likely the culprit. Navigate to the Game Options menu and manually reset all keybindings to their absolute default states. This forces the game engine to refresh the internal mapping cache. Teknobalta's analysis revealed that this tutorial bug is heavily tied to the mouse and keyboard interface logic. Plugging in an Xbox or PlayStation controller temporarily bypasses the keyboard polling loop. Use the controller's left trigger to activate Angel mode, pass the tutorial, and then switch back to your keyboard. Conflicts within the Steam controller wrapper often hijack keyboard inputs in Unreal Engine 3 titles. Right-click the game in your Steam library, access the Properties menu, and navigate to the Controller tab. Disable Steam input entirely to ensure raw keyboard commands reach the game executable. Our testing showed that running the game at extremely high frame rates can break scripted tutorial triggers. Access your graphics card control panel and force a strict 60 FPS cap, specifically for the DmC executable. This stabilizes the physics engine and allows the tutorial script to properly advance. Alternatively, aggressive VSync buffering can introduce micro-stutters that cause input drops during critical story flags. Go into the advanced graphics settings within the game and disable VSync completely. Restart the checkpoint and attempt the Osiris input again. Sometimes, the configuration files retain corrupted user data that prevents new inputs from registering. Navigate to your Documents folder, locate the My Games directory, and find the DmC configuration folder. Delete the input configuration file and launch the game to generate a fresh, uncorrupted version. Lack of Windows, write permissions can stop the game from saving your current input state during the tutorial. Right-click the primary game executable inside your Steam Apps common folder. Select Properties, navigate to the Compatibility tab, and check the box to run the program as an administrator. Missing or corrupted script files within the game directory will cause tutorial overlays to soft lock. Open your Steam client, head to the Local Files section of the game properties, and click Verify Integrity of Game Files. Allow the client to re-download any missing engine scripts. We have noticed that extraneous USB devices can confuse the game's primary input detection module. Disconnect any connected racing wheels, flight sticks, or drawing tablets from your computer system. Leave only your primary mouse and keyboard plugged in before launching the game. Background software managing custom macros can intercept the keystroke before the game client processes it. Completely close out of utility programs like Razer Synapse, Corsair ICUE, or Auto Hotkey via the Windows Task Manager. Boot the game in a clean environment to ensure native input processing. Teknobalta independently confirmed that playing on ultra-wide or non-standard aspect ratios can misalign the tutorial UI hitboxes. Temporarily lower your desktop and game resolution to standard 1080p. Once you pass the Osiris prompt, you can revert back to your preferred display settings. Exclusive full-screen mode in older DirectX 9 titles can sometimes freeze the render thread while waiting for input validation. Hit Alt and enter simultaneously to force the game into windowed mode during the tutorial screen. Press the Q key to pass the prompt, then maximize the window again. Third-party overlays from Discord or GeForce Experience inject their own code into the game's rendering pipeline. This injection can occasionally block the specific input flags required by the tutorial UI. Disable all gaming overlays in their respective settings menus and restart the application. Outdated or corrupted DirectX libraries can cause the input wrapper to fail silently during specific UI calls. Navigate to the game's installation directory and locate the redistributables folder. Manually run the DirectX setup executable to repair any missing systemic framework files. Instead of simply clicking Continue from the death screen or pause menu, the active memory state might be permanently glitched. Quit completely to the main menu and use the Mission Select feature to restart the current checkpoint. This flushes the active memory and reloads the tutorial script cleanly. Our advanced diagnostics uncovered a strange quirk regarding localization files interfering with button prompts. Temporarily switch the game's language to English if you are using another localization, or cycle it to another language and back. This forces the UI system to redraw and refresh the input listeners. Windows keyboard layout settings can inadvertently remap the raw scan codes the game is expecting. Press the Windows key and spacebar to ensure your standard regional keyboard layout is actively selected. A mismatch here can prevent the Q key or F key from sending the correct hardware signal. Don't forget to follow Teknobalta for more.